Hi, my name is Jackie Yee. I used to be a former casino executive at Caesars Atlantic City starting back in 1979. Back in those days, okay, I was in charge of all the international marketing and Asian marketing at the hotel casino in Atlantic City. Um, I I noticed that our host department, okay, our entertainment department, was looking, they had an empty position, okay, about a celebrity host or something, someone that would draw customers, you know, to the casino. And I didn't pay it any mind. And then I was watching this thing and I was reading this thing about Willie Mosconi. So somehow he was a famous pool shooter, okay, from Philadelphia. He had a minor role in the movie The Hustler with Paul Newman and Jackie Gleason back in the day, okay. And I said, this guy, and I myself loved to shoot pool. I had a pool table in my home when I was growing up, and I thought, he's from South Philadelphia. We're in Atlantic City. He would be a natural. He's very, very famous. Anybody who knows billiards or pool or of that nature. So I reached out to him and I asked him, would he be interested in coming down to Atlantic City, working weekends only, Friday, Saturday, as a celebrity host. And, he said, let me think about it. Let me talk to my wife, okay? And I'll get back to you. Well, a few days went by. I figured, well, he may not call me back because, so, yeah, lo and behold, I think it was 3 or 4 days later, he called me back. He said, I'd like to know, and he asked me, I'd like to know a little bit more about the position. And I said, and then I invited him down to Caesars Atlantic City for the weekend, okay? And so he and his wife, came down, checked into a room. We had dinner. We discussed everything and what the job, was all about, and how could he help. And so he said, you know what? It's very interesting. I never did anything like this. And I said, it's a piece of cake, Willie. I mean, your name alone and your presence alone will draw. Okay. And he 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 said, you know what? Okay. Then we started talking the financials. Okay, what was involved and all that. So at that time, I said, this is the budget that I was told that was available for this position, and then and then at the end of the conversation, I'll tell you what, I'll even throw in, okay, transportation for you to get from South Philadelphia down to Atlantic City on the weekends. And so I leased him a Cadillac Eldorado, and back then it was a beautiful car, champagne color, and he loved it. So he goes, I'm in. So he started, had him come in on a Monday so he could get processed through HR and, get him a badge and, what he would be doing. I gave him all the company paperwork that he could read over, a job description, the whole bit. And then I said, you start next Friday, okay? So this was on a Monday we talked. So, and then when he came down, he didn't have the car yet, okay? We had it waiting for him there when he came down. So he got a ride down. I said, is it possible that you can get a ride down? Because I got the vehicle for you here and you can drive it back to Philly. So I guess he got a ride down. I forget who drove him down, but he got a ride down to Atlantic City, and he started work on a Friday. He checked in the hotel. We had dinner, and then he did it every Friday, Saturday night. He did his thing on the second floor. We set up a pool table. We roped it off in velvet roping, and he did these exhibitions. At first, it was slow. Started with 10 people, just people passing by, seeing what this was all about. Just peep, and then as we started putting posters around the hotel, we started advertising a little in Philadelphia, okay? Because Philadelphia was basically a main feeder market for Atlantic City, Philadelphia, New York, especially for the Italian American community, okay? Which Willie was. He's from South Philly, an Italian American, and the crowds, after we started advertising, they started, 30 people standing around. He would do these hour exhibitions. He just shoot around, show me trick shots and all that, and we had a guy like an MC asking him questions and basically asking Willie questions on his career, what he did, some of the people that he played against, and I mean, these are some of the legends of the game. Very famous people like Minnesota Fats, and I forget some of the other guys that they are old timers, but very, 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 very famous. Okay, and that's the crowds were getting bigger and bigger and bigger, that we couldn't have it at that location no more, because the crowds, they were blocking up the hallways, traffic, people couldn't get by. So we moved it into like a ballroom. We moved it into a ballroom, and where we had seating, and then he would draw 200, 300 people at a time. I mean, it was fantastic. Okay, and and that was it. And as time went on, okay, he wasn't back then. He was already retired. Okay, his name was synonymous with pocket billiards. Okay, anybody who shot pool or played pool knew who Willie Mosconi was. He was the greatest. He still holds the record today with 526 balls straight pool without missing. And that's funny. At dinner one time, I asked him, hey Willie, what did it feel like when you missed that 527th shot? He said, Jackie, to be honest with you, I missed it on purpose, okay? Because I was tired of shooting. Now, I don't know if he was kidding me or what, but that was his response. And I said, oh, really? Wow. And, he was like that. He would come up with these jokes. He was a pretty funny guy, but he was a great person, great human being. Him and his wife, Flora. I considered it was an honor for me, not to just say he was my friend, but to know him and to be a friend. It was an honor, okay, to meet such an individual, a humble guy, and just a good guy, a real good guy. So one day, after, I think it was like in the 10th month, because his contract was going to be, we signed him to a 1-year deal, a contract, and I believe it was going to be, the due date expire was going to be about 3 weeks later. So we had dinner one day, okay, at some Italian restaurant in Atlantic, off property, and then he brought the cue stick, this cue stick here, in a case. It was like a linoleum case. It was snapped, and it was he said, and then before we got to dinner, before we even ordered, okay, he opened up the case, and I said, oh wow, that's beautiful, Willie. Yes, this is a stick that I used to use in competition, okay, some exhibitions I did, okay, but I want you to have it. I said, really? Are you sure you want me to have it? Yes. It's the little I can do. It's the appreciation for all you've done for me. I said, Willie, this is not necessary. But he insisted that, that I take it. And, I said, okay. And I accepted it. And I said, really, thank you so much. Really. I will cherish this, okay? And that was it. He gave me the stick. And then after a while, he left. As time went on, okay, I've moved from Atlantic City to Asia to Las Vegas, and I put this stick in storage. In fact, about a year ago when I moved, about a year ago, I moved. I built a new house here in Las Vegas, and I noticed this was sitting in a cabinet in a corner in a cabinet that I had in my garage. And I said, "Oh wow, this is Willie's stick that he gave me over 40 years ago." I had forgotten all about it. Okay, and so I figured, you know what? It sat in my garage for 40 years, and and no one even knows about it. So why don't I either sell it or do something with it so someone else can enjoy this, you know? And that's how, that's where we're at now.